Greetings and salutations, Internet. The holiday is upon us, one we should all be celebrating, February 14th. As many of you know it as Cook a Colonizer Day. It's the day celebrating the Hawaiian people killing Captain Cook for coming over and trying to turn the island into Epstein Island. Eventually the West got their foot in there. But as we know, Epstein Island was far from the first Epstein Island. Columbus, he got to this continent, tried to turn the whole hemisphere into Epstein Island. His raping minors, human trafficking. That's what this country was built on. That's why it's disillusioning for some class of people who they're now the victims of the sex trafficking. Exclusively because Epstein Island, he didn't allow Negroes over there. First Epstein Island, it was like pretty much exclusively minorities, or you could say majority, but they turned them into minorities after the genocide and whatnot. But the prototypes, when they were out in Europe, they got all the practice on creating sex slaves on other white people. Then it's just like for the colonization to work, you have to bring lower class white people into believing like they can share the wealth of the theft from the land. They started to believe it. You see the American military big on sex trafficking. I worked with someone. She wrote a book about all of the sex trafficking that goes on through the military. Military facilitates so much sex trafficking. We cannot be surprised when we find out that the people at the top are benefiting from trafficking minors or anybody else. I mean, it's just like we're a sick society. And it's been like that. From the first president, you can't fucking Washington, he had slaves, he was sex trafficking, you look at any president, any person of power, this is nothing new. That's why we gotta learn from the Hawaiians for Cook a Colonizer Day. They were very gracious hosts of the Europeans, but then they reached a breaking point, and they were like, "Fuck this shit," and they went a little cray cray, and we are at our breaking point. And this is something that I've advocated for a while now. But it was put to me that if we do go after the pedophiles who run our government, this whole system will collapse. And I didn't think of it. So if we get rid of the bad pedophiles, we're also going to have to get rid of the good pedophiles, we're not going to have any pedophiles of color. We're not going to have any women war criminals or any trans terrorists. It's just going to be like if we get rid of one group of genocidal pedophiles, it's just like you're just going to be exposing everybody, and the whole system is going to crumble under its own weight. And to be honest, as concerning as that may sound to some of you, I'll allow it. I'll allow even the good pedophiles to be arrested with the bad ones. Like we could export them to another country, give up all the land that they stole, liquidate all of their resources. I mean, why don't we do it on February 14th? If anybody sees anybody in the Epstein list, like we hit me up on one of the social medias. We can get millions of people outside, and we just start circling them, and we bring them to justice. And then that could be how we bring the holiday. Instead of some people going to be celebrating Valentine's Day. Instead of loving on someone who's probably only fucking with you because they need a free dinner. How about we start revolutionary love? That's what Valentine's Day should be about anyway. Or where it's just like, for you to really build with anyone, you got to have like a solid foundation. That means like a government that's not run by a cabal of pedophile genociders. Like you can't really build. How you gonna buy a house? How you gonna buy a lot of the basic shit other countries take for granted until we get rid of the pedophiles currently running our government and robbing us? Until we do that, it's just like, let's not waste our time buying chocolates for one another. The chocolates are just going to further enrich the pedophiles and the companies that they own. Like, look at what Belgium did. The Belgian, they're known for chocolates. And then, had King Leopold killed almost 20 million Congolese people. No one talks about it. We use their oil or their rubber to go and fight the Nazis. So, cook a colonizer. They're cooking your kids. So it's only turnaround is only fair play. and most of y'all are the single anyway. And the ones who ain't single probably shouldn't be buying the person you're with anything. They probably, you know what they're probably doing. Nubis, come here. It's almost 1 year. This is first time we crossed paths 1 year ago. So he's got like, I've trained him to enjoy the flesh of rich people. He eats the rich. His previous owner was very rich. They had to get rid of him because he was related to Bill Gates, and he ate him whole. It was a 600-pound dude. He ate like you couldn't even. He didn't even leave a bone behind. So he's ready. When we cook a colonizer, you can give it to my dog. He's so adorable. Like you want to feed him because you don't want him to be hungry. Only reason I won't worry about him eating me is because he see how he'll lick me and he'll taste my credit score. I'm the only person he knows with a single-digit credit score. Well, technically, I worked really hard. I tripled my credit score and I got it to the double digits. And I thought that was amazing. But found out that's still kind of low. It's very high compared to where I've been, but it's low in comparison to some other people's stuff. People with quadruple digit credit scores. I didn't even know. But yeah, I've been enjoying the conversations had, like the revelations that certain people they've been sitting with, and it's like stuff I've been knowing and I've been saying since it's been crazy to say it out loud, and now it's just like I'm just basically having a lot of shit confirmed. And one of the most frustrating things about it is, you would think, okay, I was right about so much shit. I was right about questioning the vaccines. Everything that I said came to fruition. All the companies that were pushing it on us, like they've been found in all kinds of criminality. None of them prosecuted. Some of them have gotten fines. And in Google, they relaxed a lot of their policy around the COVID questions, but I still didn't get my channels back. Even though they were like running a criminal racket, they were directly invested in the drugs you can't question on their platform. I was questioning the ties between Epstein and Bill Gates, and then in the Epstein release, they were talking about how they were coordinating the rollout of a vaccine, all kinds of shady shit that just seems too far fetched. Um, then they get caught through email, and you would expect the people who are right about everything to be celebrated, like me to get my channel reinstated, get all kinds of money bonuses for being correct, uh, uh, have the algorithm favor me since I was the one who was correct, and all these other authoritative news sources, they were wrong about everything. But that's not the way the cookie crumbles, because the pedophiles still have power. That's why we gotta cook a colonizer. Like we got to bring them to justice. The Epstein list isn't going to bring themselves to justice. They're not going to lock up their friends. Those are the homies. Even the ones who you think are enemies, they're all controlled opposition. They got each other's backs. Clinton's got Trump back, and Trump got Bush, and it's just like you think it's a rivalry. No, it's class solidarity at the top. That's why it's just like we definitely we gotta step outside of this false dichotomy that they give us. We gotta wake up to the game that's being played, and this is the 100th year of Black history. And like I said, the only thing white people need to know about Black history is that the first Europeans were Black Africans. Your ancestors are descendants from Africans. Now you're having your return to your Blackness. Uh, like like they train you to embrace this false sense of whiteness, which there's never been a white supremacist that in the existence of the entire world. There's been white supremacist structures, which is really just admitting the inferiority of the people who believe in it. Because if you think you're really better at somebody, you don't need to cheat the game. Like if I'm better at you, I don't need to say, "Hey, spot me 20 points." I'll crush you, but you got to spot me 20 points, and every time I score, I get double the points that you get. That's like, no, it means me acknowledging my own inferiority. But the system was embraced by certain people because it's just like the first people to be enslaved by white people was other white people. And this was like the colonization of other countries was basically like team building for European cultures. Like they get the poorest of the poor, people who are in debtors' prisons. Like you want to get your own land, get out of prison, go kill the people over there. We'll let you get a piece of that. And in that, like you start dehumanizing these people. You don't get mad. You don't like view the people who had you locked up because you were too poor back in your homeland. You don't view them as the enemy. You just start embracing this new life of killing people and taking their shit, raping them, and then thinking you're superior, even though you're only able to colonize because of you stealing the technology from the Chinese. That's why I think it's funny when people say Chinese are stealing our technology. It's kind of ridiculous. But it was like creature comforts that came with upholding the system. Uh, Now it's just being exposed. Like you're the prey, your kids are the prey. Like Epstein's whole thing. They had their fingers in all kinds of pies. Like Ghislaine Maxwell worked with Disney. They had cruises that went through Epstein Island. Cruises filled with your kids. They were recruiting all kinds of talent. I personally had an ex who I know was like with something that I felt bad about. I knew it was like some shady shit. Like it was a Disney house where I'm pretty sure they were just sex trafficking a lot of women. Um, but yeah, now they had like a lot of that shit exposed in the email, just kind of confirming what I already figured. Yeah, and it's it is disgusting to see, but this is something that certain people have been saying for years. I mean, dad told me when I was 23 that I'm the possible product of a rape. That's why a lot of family had issues with me calling me white boy because of that. My dad never checked. He said it didn't matter. He raised me regardless. That's why it's weird when people say black men don't take care of their family because my dad was black, and after my mom passed, he took care of me exclusively. Um, and even going back to uh, his ancestors, you know, uh, it's a family farm that my father's side of the family was fighting over because there was a white slave owner couldn't get a woman who wasn't enslaved to sleep with him, so he had a baby with one of his slaves. So they had like this Fisher farm. It was like a Fisher cemetery. It was nothing but white people. Then after a while, it became nothing but black people because you know the slavery and whatnot, and the rapes. This was it wasn't Epstein Island. It was in Mississippi, but it was that same Epstein shit: human trafficking, rape, um, disgusting excuses for human beings, thinking they're superior. Um, just like a small uh, uh, objective assessment of the actual situation will let you know that they are not superior. And now it's just like a lot of white people. It's just like we keep getting told that the people who are at Epstein Island, these are the elite, the supreme, the best of the best, cream of the crop. You got Elon Musk, you got Donald Trump, and it's just like they talk about DEI hires. People only get hired at jobs because they're DEI hires. They didn't earn it. They didn't earn it. And these are people who inherited millions of dollars, and then they use their money and their political connections to make a bunch of extra money that they did not earn, and they think they're better than other people. And the feeling that so many poor white people are rightfully feeling when they get told that these are their elites, their superiors. These are the job creators, the real minds and physicality, the supreme beings. That white people see Donald Trump and get told he is an elite, or Elon Musk. These are the elites. You get disgusted, like yuck. You ain't elite to shit. Fuck this motherfucker. You have the military and the government in your pocket, and you have a monopoly on violence. It's because you're more violent, you're more cruel, and unscrupulous doesn't make you better in any way. Right? White people are feeling that now, rightfully so. Non-white people have felt that for centuries, ever since being colonized. Like motherfucker, we helped you, and then you rob us, and you kill our people, you enslave us, and then you steal our ideas and pass them off as your own, and you think you're better, and you expect us to accept this second class citizenship. It's like it's crazy. That's why we got to cook a colonizer day. Cook a colonizer, and white people accept your black history. Know that you are now the black people. You have always been. You have always been the descendants. You just the building of the white supremacist infrastructure was never in your interest. It was always to allow a certain class of people to continue to say they are the elite. That's why it's just weird. It's like we make the smartphone, the lights, and all. No, you didn't. All that shit was on the pyramids. And you look at who's inventing everything right now. They are not in Western countries because the West raises people to be stupid. Only reason you think like all these ancient civilizations were white is because our media is controlled by white folks, and then the books. One of the revelations I had when uh, uh, coming across the Epstein files was McGraw Hill. The books that they forced us to read when I was in school, all controlled by Mossad. And it's just like, yeah, that's why you think people in Africa are white. Think that Israeli people, the original Israeli, well, his name call it that, Kemet, which now became Israel, became Egypt, became Jordan, became Palestine, a bunch of different lands. But that whole area was inhabited by people who look completely different than the ones who are there now, with the exception of Sudan. Sudan, they pretty much look the same, like the ancient Nubian folks. But that's neither here nor there. And this coat is extraordinarily hot, isn't it? 1 second. Whew. There we go. I got the keffiyeh for the dabbing and whatnot. And then I also got one more. One stop. Ooh, yeah. I've been having some epic boogers, you guys. Like, really, just phenomenal stuff. I mean, they're getting much smaller, but like, I like getting over something. And I'll wake up, and sometimes I can like feel congested, but I blow my nose, nothing comes out, or very little. Oh, I got dog hair on me or something. And yeah, I've been like having like just waking up and having some fantastic production. It's like largest boogers I've ever seen myself create, or just anybody create. I wish there was like a website where I could like share it kind of anonymously. Like you ever just have like a booger or another bodily function that was just so impressive. You just like, damn. I wish I had the ability to share that with someone without being weird. I know I could post it like on Instagram, but then that'll be weird. Yeah, I just want to take pride in stuff. It's like I had like a video of me popping a cyst or having a cyst juiced, and I posted it on like a separate YouTube channel. And I just felt like I had to do it. It's like world's largest ganglion cyst being popped. Good stuff. Good stuff. Little sidetrack. Speaking of popping, we need to pop some revolution off. What you doing? He's all freshly bathed and whatnot. Someone was asking uh, if this was the same dog from years and years ago. I think they were talking about Major. However, all right. Well, I'm about to return that call, but I appreciate you guys showing up. I'm gonna do something for tomorrow. We got to celebrate the holiday correctly. Oh shit! So we're gonna do something special for Cook a Colonizer Day. Um, yeah. So, and I'll probably do it at a more reasonable time. I didn't realize how late it was gonna be, but don't forget to be good to each other, you guys. Peace.